The St. Louis Blues have one last final game during this homestand, and it is versus the Utah Mammoth.
Hey, this is Brayden Chen. Subscribe to Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, talking to you all things about our St. Louis Blues here in the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So let's say it for how it is. The Blues, they need a plan versus the Mammoth. So what is that plan? Because they do need to get back into the win column. I was not impressed during this homestand and then final predictions contest. We talk about, I know we're all kind of annoyed. I don't blame you by any means, as this is a big game. And today's episode, by the way, is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. So, as I've stated in the opening, that this is the final game in this 4-game homestand. Just to give you all a reminder, the Blues fell to the Blackhawks 8-3. It was very ugly. Then the Blues defeated the Dallas Stars 3-1. And then, well, the overtime loss of the Kings happened, 2-1 OTL. And then finally, we have tonight versus Utah. And the Mammoth are 4-0 right now since they got their mascot. So I think that's what the Mammoth are kind of riding on, that momentum. Obviously not the mascot, but Clayton Keller's line has been phenomenal. And the Mammoth, they have a lot of good players, okay? There's no denying it. They have a lot of young guys, and they're a fast, speedy team. Which then makes me, as somebody that's a hockey, expert, right? When I think of a speedy team, I think, well, how can you stop that? Defense. Well, do the Blues have the correct defensive players to stop that? And that's where I get nervous, number one. So we're going to digest into this contest. I also have a little bit from Coach Montgomery, but this is the projected lineup for tonight. Centering the first line is Robert Thomas. To the left, it's Bushi. To the right, it's Kyrou. Second line centering, it's Brayden Schenn. To the left, it's Dylan Holloway. And to the right, it's Jake Neighbors. Third line centering, Pius Suter. To the left, Matthew Joseph. To the right, Jimmy Snuggerud. Finally, fourth line centering, Oscar Sundquist. It's always sunny. To the left, Nathan Walker. To the right, Nick Butzak. Now, defense, we have Philip Rober, Colton Parayko, Tyler Tucker, Justin Folk, Cam Fowler, and Logan Mayu. And then starting tonight in net is Joel Hofer. Prior to tonight's contest, Coach Montgomery did talk to the media. I'm going to play you a couple minutes of what Monty had to say, courtesy of the St. Louis Blues.
How we doing? I'm good. I'm well. Had a great dinner last night. Went to Napoli. Have a dear close friend in from Boston/LA/Vegas, and my two sons came, and a couple of former players that live in St. Louis, so it was great.
How's Sonny doing today?
Sonny's doing well. He's going to be a player.
What can you kind of add to your fourth line?
Well, it's more what he adds to our team. He adds a warrior mentality. He's very hard to play against. He's hard in the hardest areas, whether it's walls or net fronts, offensively and defensively. And his detail, he has an exceptional defensive stick. So whether it's on the PK or it's in our own end, whether he's playing wing or he's playing down low, he kills a lot of plays. And he knows how to build our team game offensively.
Coach Neighbors, he's playing game number 600. What do you make of his start to the season and maybe the sequence in overtime?
Yeah, well, the sequence in overtime, I mean, their goaltender makes a good save. He's trying to end the game. I loved how hard he took that puck to the net. That's something we need to do more 5-on-5 of as a team. And, the Kuzmenko, he's out there a long time. They got the possession back. So that's just one of those things where he's trying to do the right thing and, he takes a penalty. That's going to happen. Overall, I thought he had a great camp so far this year. I thought he started the year off playing well, hasn't had puck luck. And I think like anyone that's a gifted offensive player, when you don't have the production that you're used to, it gets magnified early in the year. But I know by the end of the year, he's going to be a 25 to 30 goal scorer for us with 70 to 80 points for us.
So I wanted to play that for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think the way that Monty talks to the media is something that it's hard to kind of just say here in the podcast, but that's the type of banter that he has. And again, I think that just goes to show the kind of coach that he is, where he's able to talk to the guys, not just, bark orders at them. And then how he was able to talk about Bushi. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, it was an unfortunate penalty. Okay. No denying that. But he is still a very good player. And listen, there was a lot in that game that I didn't like. I did not like how Justin Folk played. Like, there's a lot that was frustrating. We didn't see a lot from Robert Thomas. Like, there was just more factors to that game than just that penalty at the end in OT. Now, it was a bad penalty, right? There's no denying that, and I'm not defending Bushi in any single way. But again, just the respect that Coach Montgomery has for his players and how he's able to explain, hey, this is still a very good player, blah, 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 instead of just coming at him and just piling on. I can respect that out of a head coach. So I wanted to show you that specifically for that reason. Now, Oscar Sundqvist will be making his season debut tonight after missing the start of the season due to a lower body injury. And it's going to be so awesome seeing Sonny back. He is the definition of St. Louis Blue. Sonny said, "It sucks to be on the sideline. I'm excited to be back, and it kind of feels like opening night." Now, I do agree that in a sense it kind of does for Sonny because this is his opening night. But again, this team has played a handful of games and it hasn't been too impressive, especially at home. So for Sonny, hopefully he adds a little bit of flair to that fourth line and gets the team going. I know that Sonny is the type of player that gives it his all, and you can see that with his playing style as a whole. And I am excited just to see the aggressiveness from him because that is something that he's able to translate so well on the ice and definitely boosts the fourth line. Coach Montgomery did say he adds a warrior mentality. He's very hard to play against. He's hard in the hardest areas, whether it's walls or net fronts, offensively and defensively, and he knows how to build our team game. So that was another thing that head coach had to say about Sonny. We also have Logan Mayu drawing back into the lineup as Matthew Kessel will be out. And I know that Coach Montgomery did say a couple days ago that once Logan Mayu returns to the lineup, which we all thought was going to be only one game, it ended up being 2 games, he will not be coming out again. So I hope that stays true. I am hoping for a really good game. And again, he is going to be paired up with Cam Fowler, and Cam Fowler, obviously, veteran defenseman. So you're kind of hoping to see that expertise kick in. But I am really curious to see how Logan does alongside Cam Fowler because I truly don't believe, besides Colton Parayko, there's a better player to play alongside with. But again, I still think these lines are a little bit funky, not too big of a fan. But I want to talk about the homestand as a whole because I think that right now, yes, while they're entering their final game of the homestand, there is 3 games, one of which they won and 2 of which they lost. But as a whole, I've been disappointed, my friends. So I want to talk to you about that. But first, I want to talk to you about Rugiet. Let's be real, making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've all heard them before. It's just the stress. I'm tired, or It happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support, and that's where Rugiet comes in. Rugiet.com offers a fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatment for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Rugiet makes it to get started. You just connect with a board certified doctor, 100% online, no awkward waiting rooms, no in person appointments. Visit, I'm going to spell this out for you, rugiet.com/locked on NHL to get 15% off your first order. That's rugiet.com/locked on NHL. And don't forget to use our code Locked On NHL so they know that we sent you. Rugiet, stop making excuses and start making moves. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down just $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because I love same game parlays. I usually do a money line and then a player prop, whether that's rushing, passing, receiving, you name it. So make a little nice 2-leg parlay, put $5 down, and see all the possible endless ways that you can win. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. I have not been impressed during this homestand, and I know I'm kind of like repeating myself from last night's little tangent, but I really thought about it because somebody asked me today, how do you think the Blues are doing this season? And my first response was, well, they kind of look the same as last year. And what I mean by that is this. I have said this hundreds of times that they play down to their opponents, right? They don't play consistently. If they're playing a team that's not as good or not having a good start to the season, guess what? They're going to play not as good. It is the same pattern that we have seen time and time again. And the comments on my videos, I mean, everyone says the same exact thing. And I don't know how many times I can say this because it's the truth, but when you are playing a team, for instance, like the Chicago Blackhawks, there is no excuse for them to put 8 goals on you. There's not. I was utterly disappointed in that. But it goes beyond the Blackhawks, right? When they play the Dallas Stars, obviously Dallas is a cup contending team, a very good team to say the least. So when the Blues play hard, competitive hockey against Dallas, but then against the LA Kings, it's sloppy again. Yeah, it annoys me. It makes me feel words that I can't say on this podcast because that's how frustrating it gets. We see errors, we see sloppiness, we see simple mistakes that this team shouldn't be making. But against teams that are really good, we don't see that. Like when they played the Canucks and the Flames, they looked good. When they played the Stars, they looked good. So I'm trying to understand why it is that when they play teams that are not necessarily as good, why they look like a mess. And it's just so frustrating and it's so mind-boggling. What also blows my mind is that, again, we're seeing the same mistakes from players that know better. We shouldn't be seeing, Justin Folk with the countless mistakes. Like, it's enough is enough. And I just don't get how this team had a heartbreaking loss in the first round of the playoffs last season, had all summer to work on, what they needed to work on. And here we are again. And it feels like to me, deja vu. I could be wrong. Maybe this team does something that it gets me excited and impresses me. I'm sure they will, throughout the season. But I mean, the other night when I was watching that Kings game, the frustration that I had was coming from a place truly of disappointment. That game should not have gone to overtime on paper. Now, LA was playing as the better team, so I will give them credit. There's no denying that. The Kings looked really good. They had strong defense. Like, I'm not going to deny that by any means. The Kings looked really good. But I'm saying, like, on paper, though, like, player talent wise, this has nothing to do with the game itself. The Blues should have won that game. But again, that's not how sports work. And the Kings, I mean, they fought hard. You know, Kemper back in net. And they played well. Really well. They got the win. Jordan Binnington had a great game. And I don't put that on Binnington. I think it's so easy for all of us, to blame the goalies sometimes and say, this is the reason why if they just made this save. But Binnington did a fantastic job considering the lack of protection with his defense. I just think the Blues are going to have to either consider a couple options. I know it's early, but this might have to be the situation. You might have to say, well, at some point we're going to have to make a trade. Yeah, because I don't see this defense rocking and rolling into the playoffs. I don't. I think that the offense, they just have to get their groove on again. But the mistakes that the offense makes isn't to the same type of severity that the defense makes. And what I mean by that is, is it a problem that, Robert Thomas hasn't really been shooting much? Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's not good and that's not okay. But I know that he has the ability to be that type of player. But do I know if Justin Folk will? Do I know if Logan Mayu? Do I know if Philip Broberg? I mean, there's a lot of questions with the defense. And I love that Tyler Tucker, was trying to amp the guys up with his fighting. But I mean, you can't do the same thing every single game. And that to me is just where I get a little bit apprehensive. Now, again, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm overanalyzing. But I think it is a fair assessment and a fair question to bring up just for the pure fact that you don't want this team to miss out on the playoffs because of what they did in the beginning of the season. Because this matters, in my opinion, sometimes more than the end of the season. This sets the tone. You're not going to get back those 2 points against the Blackhawks now. And 2 points in the Central is so crucial and vital. So I'm going to talk to you about my predictions for tonight, but just keep that in mind of how crucial games are, especially when they're in your division. Hockey season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real, getting tickets can be a total headache between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout. It's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Gametime comes in. The app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NHL tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. I love using Gametime because personally, I am able to grab tickets and see exactly where my seats will be, the view for my seat, and it just makes the overall experience so much better. Plus, I love the fact that there is no hidden fees, especially when you go to checkout. It's just nice having that transparency of knowing exactly what I'm going to be paying as soon as I go to checkout. So take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app and create an account and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. There's no doubt that tonight's contest is important for both the Blues and the Mammoth. As I said, the Mammoth had been rocking and rolling since they got that stupid mascot, Tusky. Listen, it is a cute mascot, but nothing compares to Louis. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm sorry. I'm biased. I'm not going to, I still think ours is the best. But that's besides the point. The point is that the Blues need to get points. See what I did there? Because they only left the last game with 1 point. Okay. You're playing the final game of this homestand before you go on the road. And it's really important for the Blues to get back in the win column. So I want to do a little bit of a final prediction because I think that it's also my specialty. I love being able to predict games. And I think the Mammoth are a really good team. There is a part of me, though, however, where I can see the Blues winning 5-3. I don't know why that number is in my head right now. I don't know why 5-3 is in my head. But with Oscar Sundqvist coming back, right? You have Joel Hofer looking for some redemption. You have Logan Mailloux who's drawing back into the lineup. You kind of switch up the lines a little bit, right? So you have the Robert Thomas line with Bushi and then Kyrou. I mean, there are so many possibilities of these guys being amped up just due to all the changes, and the chemistry could work. I mean, I always say that, but when I was reading the lines last night from practice and I was like, this is a joke, I thought about it. And for maybe some of us fans, we might be like, hey, this is a joke because we're not there. We don't necessarily see how they look playing together on the same lines. But maybe Coach Montgomery sees something. I mean, he definitely does. I mean, he is the head coach. That we don't. And I'm looking at some of these lines, right? And I'm just so curious to see, especially, Braden Shen, Holloway, and Neighbors. I feel like, honestly, I have been kind of upset mostly that Holloway isn't on the first line. I would have switched Bushi and Holloway and had it be Holloway, Thomas, Kyrou. That would have been my ideal line, but obviously that's not happening. But I am curious because Jake Neighbors has been on fire, and I feel like he plays really well with Braden Shen. So I am curious about that line too. Also, we have Oscar Sundqvist drawing back in. I don't know how I feel about the second pairing on defense, by the way, of Tyler Tucker and Justin Folk. I'm not a fan of that. I understand that you want to have Cam Fowler, who is a veteran, alongside Logan Mailloux. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. I don't really like this, especially on defense. Like, this could be ugly. Like, I'm saying 5-3 Blues. It could easily be like 5-3 Mammoth. Like, I am not going to come on here and say that this is going to be an easy win because it won't. Especially with all that momentum right now that Utah has, it's going to be anything other than an easy win. It's going to be difficult. I mean, the Blues are 3-2-1. The Mammoth are 5-2-0. And but the Mammoth have won 4 in a row. Like, it's so frustrating. And then obviously you have Captain Clayton Keller, who is, a native of St. Louis. Shout out Clayton Keller. And this is the first of 4 matchups. Like, this honestly could be a really bad game for the Blues. This is me, by the way, Nick Books. I didn't mention this. This is me, his first game against his former team. He was with Utah, obviously, and again, like, that's exciting, I guess. I don't know. Nick Bukestad, fourth liner. Bushi, by the way, this will be his 600th career game. He played 301 with the Rangers and 299 with the Blues. Robert Thomas, by the way, is 1 point shy of reaching 400 career points. And obviously, when it comes to Robert Thomas, there's no bigger fan than me. And Cam Fowler sits 6 shy of becoming the 13th active defenseman in the NHL to reach 500 career points. So A lot going on in tonight's contest. I am a little bit apprehensive. I'm a little bit nervous. Don't know how I feel about it, but I'm still going to say 5-3 just because I feel like the offense will come to life. The 3 is because I don't trust the defense, not Joel Hofer. All right. I will talk to you later. I'll give my post-game reaction, but until then, like always, let's go Blues.